Just before 7 then Monday morning, it's the 27th of September. Really hope you're fitting well. Thank you for switching us on this Monday morning. Now, if you're not aware, it's still Freshers' Week for many students, and for most, it's a time really of making friends and trying to enjoy the partying that comes with uni life, university life. But for some, it can be a real difficult time, dealing with ongoing addictions or potentially developing new ones. Well, to try and help, Middlesbrough charity Recovery Connections, they've just launched a brand new programme at Teesside University. And our reporter Lee Johnson has been to find out more and spoke to Adam Petson, who leads the Students in Recovery programme.
We look to provide peer support for students in recovery on campus. This is the first time this has been done in this country, and it's based on what we've seen in America with regards to their collegiate recovery. So we've decided to incorporate that and bring it over here.
And is there an issue with students? Is there a large number of students coming into universities that have, problems with addiction?
There's a very large proportion of students who do have an issue with addiction in some variants. The problem is tapping into that because of stigma, and what we look to do is to kind of bridge that gap and create a safe space on campus where students who are in recovery, or if addiction affects them in some way through a third party, through family or friends, where they can get together, support each other and create a network where they can have their own community on campus.
Are you anticipating a fair amount of interest then, even if it's just coming over and maybe talking, they might have a friend or someone else that they know that's perhaps suffering with some form of addiction?
I am expecting quite a large amount of people to come and see us today, yes. Like you stated there, whether it doesn't affect them with regards to their own addiction problems, but through a third party, or just something that's affecting them through their family or their friends. The spectrum's really wide with regards to how we can help people. Whilst Freshers' Week is fundamentally about going out and drinking and partying, we do get a lot of interest from those where that's not their thing.
And how's it going to work on a practical level then on the campus?
So Teesside have been really supportive of this initiative, and what they've done is they've given us designated spaces where we can set up our groups, we can have weekly drop-ins, and we can form our community in those safe spaces. So Teesside Uni have given us some space in this student life building behind me. We've also got real support from the student union who allow us to use that building as well. So we will have drop-ins every week in different areas on campus where people can just come along and speak to ourselves, and we can start to have meetings and just get our chins wagging.
If you know his voice, it's Adam Petson having a chat with our reporter Lee Johnson there. Well, Peter de Silva knows all about addiction, and he's been telling our reporter Lee Johnson how he went from being homeless to a harm reduction worker and Teesside University student. Have a listen to this.
I was on drugs for a number of years, 25 years, ended up homeless and all that stuff, and I went through Recovery Connections and went through the rehab, and then someone spared me on him, told me to go and do an access course, and then I ended up doing that and passing and come to college, and now I'm working with Recovery Connections. My life's took off. Addiction to me and the lifestyle I was living, prisons and all that stuff, it was familiar. Even though it was really difficult, it was really familiar. I knew what to expect on a daily basis, and when I found out about rehab and that, I didn't know what to expect, and that's where my fear came from. That's where the decisions, if I don't want to do it, came from. But then understanding lived experience of other people going through addiction and telling me their experience and then how they've got out of it, like people in Recovery Connections, that inspired me to think, right, if you can do it, I can do it, because they were telling me the story I was living.
Another big thing for you was actually getting into university as well. How did you ever think you would achieve that?
No, so I was also, I don't like to say delinquent, but I was also a troubled child, so I got shot out of school when I was 14. I never had no mega education, and I always thought university was for people like Einstein, and Stephen Hawkins and that, and that was never in my plan. And then, all of a sudden I go and do an access course, and I realised, hang on a minute, I can do this, and then I just went with it, and here I am going, and I'm doing well. I'm getting firsts, I'm getting 72s and all sorts of these assignments.
Was there a moment in your life and in that the depth of your addiction, you thought, I can't do this anymore, because if I do, I'm going to end up,
I'm
going to end up dead here?
there was a lot of them moments, and if I'm really honest here, I wanted to die, but I never. That was the thing. So I was waking up on a daily basis, devastated to be alive. I was freezing cold, living homeless, dirty. I just wanted to give up. Whatever inside me, my spirit or whatever you want to call it, wouldn't give up. And by the look of the universe, I suppose, I meet this girl who I knew, who I used drugs with, and she transformed her life, and she gave me the way out. She told me about Recovery Connections, the rehab, and I went with it.
And now you're studying, it's psychology, isn't it?
Psychology.
In your third year?
Yeah, I'm studying psychology and counselling, going into my third year. I'm working for Recovery Connections now as a harm reduction worker. I also work for the Royal College of Psychiatry as a patient representative. I volunteer for Mind as a appropriate adult. There's loads I do, there's loads I do, and I like to keep busy, and I'm in line with my purpose. So I want to help. I believe if I can do this, all my people who I've left out there can do it too.
And will you be offering up advice to any students that want to come and talk to you about issues that they might be having, or a friend or a family member might be having?
Yeah, so it's definitely part of, I'm going to be a big part of this with Adam, and I'm going to be involved, and I'm going to be here telling my story, and again, like you've already said, it's about the stigma. We need to get rid of this stigma, because I can imagine what I know through working within these services is that most people are affected by addiction or substance misuse in some way, form, or it's either them, the family, the friend, the next door neighbours, auntie's cousin. It's somebody. They're all affected somehow. And if not, they're affected. They're coming out on these streets and seeing beggars on Linthorpe Road every day. That has to affect a human being spiritually. Has to.
Lovely to hear Peter coming out the other side as well. And best of luck to the Middlesbrough charity, Recovery Connections. As we said, just launched that brand new programme at Teesside University. More on that throughout the day here at BBC Radio Tees.